DDS analytics, and I'm going to walk you through my data analysis related to attrition. So a little bit of the outline, we're just going to introduce the problem in our data set, and then specifically with the data, we're going to look at some employee survey results. Then we're going to get into some specific job trends related to attrition, and then we'll get more into numerical attributes, and then finally lead that into some actual predictions and what we found using a KNN classification model. So jumping right in, our data set has 870 employees of various job roles, and about 13% of those employees actually had turnover or left the company. Luckily in this data set, there's no missing values to deal with, so we don't have to do any of that hard cleaning right now, so we'll just jump right in to the results. So in terms of employee surveys, these are surveys, that employees will rate, on a scale from 1 to 4, 4 being the highest for various questions or attributes or aspects of their job. And this plot is showing you the percentage of employees with a particular rating on a question that actually left the company. And you can see the lightest blue is showing you the highest percentage or proportion of attrition, and that comes up in job involvement and work-life balance. So employees that are listing or reporting a low score for job involvement and work-life balance have a higher percentage of those employees that are actually going to leave the company. And one thing to note that for performance rating, we actually don't have any values for ratings 1 and 2 because the employees are not rating themselves that low. So if we look more at job-specific trends, we can see that in this plot that sales representatives seem to have a higher amount of turnover. You can see this plot is showing the percentage of each job in terms of turnover, and it's about 50% of sales reps actually have a higher turnover, and that's higher than any other job role in this data set. As of right now, we're not sure what the reason is or if being a sales rep is causing that, but we can say that it is associated with it. If we look at more specific job aspects, such as overtime and business travel, we can see that kind of getting overworked or working overtime or long hours is going to lead to a higher attrition as well, or at least that's the association we're seeing in the top plot there. And then down below, there seems to be some evidence that if you're someone who's traveling more regularly, in the middle bar there for traveling frequently, there is a higher percentage of those employees that end up turning over as well. So perhaps this is being, adding stress to the job. We're not exactly sure. We can't speak of any cause and effect right now, but we can say that as an association that exists in this data set. So in terms of monthly income, we're curious if we see any differences among specifically like sales representatives, and we just saw a couple slides ago that they had a higher attrition. Here, this is monthly income, which is obviously left skewed here, and it seems that the managers and directors are the ones that make up most of the higher income. So we don't really see much sales executives in the higher income brackets and sales representatives at all, really. And it's hard to say, but perhaps a good question would be to look deeper into your employees as whether or not income is playing a role in the attrition of sales representatives. As of now, we can see there is some sort of distinction, but that's all we can mention for now, is there's no necessarily causal link as of right now. So we kind of shift gears here a little bit and look more at numerical attributes. In particular, we pulled 2 that were of interest, and that was age of the employees and the distance of their commute. So you can imagine if you have a long commute, it's probably going to lead possibly to leaving that job as you get stressed out over how long that commute takes. And that's exactly what our box plot shows, is the red plot showing a higher median commute time for employees that have turnover. And then with age, that tends to correlate with more tenure and experience. And in general, younger employees are more likely to have turnover until they find, that right fit job where they want to stay at for long term. So if we want to actually be able to use some of this information, we need to put it into a predictive model. And in this case, we're going to try and use K nearest neighbors, or KNN, which is a way to classify employees in terms of attrition, which is yes for attrition or no, using all these attributes that we just came up with. And we ended up choosing monthly income, job involvement, and work-life balance as predictors. Unfortunately, what we found, KNN seems to be a challenging model, and we suspect that it's due to the low number of employees with turnover in the data set. So our recommendation is probably to go with a different type of model. As you can see, our specificity is only 0.4, which is not too great, actually. So I think more analysis is done to find the right model in this situation. So again, just to wrap up this presentation, we looked at some key attributes of attrition and found that work-life balance, job involvement, and experience and tenure in general is going to be associated with higher turnover. The job-specific trends, we're looking at sales seems to suffer from the highest attrition among job roles. And also higher travel and low income may also lead to turnover as well. And in terms of predicting attrition, we found that KNN probably is not the best suit, or maybe there's other attributes that we don't have access to that could be put into a KNN model, but we believe more analysis or more testing could be done to find the best solution for a predictive model. So that is the end of my presentation here. So thanks for listening. All right, bye.